Welcome to my review for Solace. Quantum of Solace. Let me just take this off real quick. Okay. This movie is a follow-up to 2006 hit Casino Royale, starring Daniel Craig as Bond, and this one takes off basically like 5 minutes after the last one ended. He gets... he's trying to find out whether or not the love of his life, Vesper Lind, possibly the love of his life, betrayed him, or if she died for him. And so he's trying to find out all these facts. But the thing is, he's out for blood. He doesn't really. He wants questions, but he wants other than that. He wants people dead. You see him murder people. You see him stab somebody in the neck, and as he looks, and Daniel Craig Bond looks at him as he dies. So you know there are some pretty. I wouldn't say brutal, but there's a lot of murders in this movie. There's my ticket to prove I went to this film. Is it upside down? Crap. There we are. So, Die Hard, The Matrix, Spider-Man 2, Transformers, Casino Royale. All these movies, RoboCop, and that too. All these movies have something in common. They are all amazing action movies. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new member to the cast of great action movies today. That movie is Quantum of Solace. This movie was awesome! Oh man! I just came out of the theater like 10 minutes ago. I'm drooling. I was like, oh my god! This movie is so awesome. Okay, but back to the plot of it. I just wanted to remind you. Bond is trying to also find a man named Dominic Green, which will help him find who murdered Vesper. And he's an environmentalist who really is he thinks that he wants a desert, but he just has oil. And Bond teams up with a girl played by Olga Kurylenko to bring down some. Olga's character, Camille, I think is her name, is trying to find the person who killed her family, and Bond is trying to find the person who killed the love of his life, or just find out what happened. And, well, god dang it, this movie is so good. Now, a lot of people have compared it to the Bourne movies when it comes to pacing. I would say that, but the thing is that the Bourne movies are bad. I know. I am that guy. I saw it, the first one, and I hated it, but I'm like, okay, well, let's see where the series goes. Saw like half the second one, and I just turned it off. I'm like, okay, this is crap. Now people are going to say, well, the third one's the best, the end of the second one is great. Yeah, okay, alright, I'm going to check it out, but whatever. I didn't like those movies. At first I thought this was because, like, there's 2 big action sequences in the first 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, boy, 5, actually. And so I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be like, we aren't even going to get any plot in here. But luckily, they did slow the movie down a little bit, where we were able to get enough plot to be able to actually have this feature film, and not just action, speech. You know, it was great. Daniel Craig is the best Bond ever. Yeah, I said it. What? You want to fight about it? The actors in this movie, Judi Dench is great. You really get the backstory of Bond and kind of his origin. Now, you got that in Casino Royale, but it just gets deeper and deeper as it goes on, and it's just so interesting how you see it. And action scenes in this movie, the first car chase was a bit too close. Didn't really like it that much, but it did get a lot better as it went along. The action scenes did get better, it seemed, as they went along. I wasn't as bothered by them. The acting is great in this, but a couple things I noticed is that spoiler alert here, because I just need to notice this, but one of these girls that he sleeps with, Dominic Green, the villain, he's out for oil, and he gets somebody to put oil on her, and she's laying on a bed covered in oil. You can't even see her face or anything. She's just covered in oil. And I'm like, and she's on a bed, and I'm thinking, this is exactly like in Goldfinger when the girl was covered in gold. Exactly. If you haven't seen the scene, check it out, because it looks. If you're a big James Bond fan, you'll notice it. But Even if you've just seen Goldfinger, I think you'll notice it. I don't know. And another thing is that the thing I gotta give this movie huge props for, it had the trifecta of chase scenes. It had a car chase, it had a chase in the water, and it had a chase in the air. I can't really say that many, there's not that many movies I could say that about. Now, Bond, the thing is that another complaint I had, this is kind of, well, no, this is actually a big deal, but Bond, in this, he never slept through the entire movie. He did not sleep. It's like a span of like 4 days. He did not close his eyes at all. I'm like, okay, seriously? I mean, in that last fight, I was like, I expect him to just like fall asleep. I mean, like he was holding this girl at the end, and I thought he would just fall asleep and have to wake her up. He hadn't slept, which I thought was really strange. But, and that's an error by the director, who is Mark Forster. Oh God, what other stuff? I heard somebody told me I think he directed The Kite Runner, but I know that's wrong because I think like the last guy directed Kite Runner. But whatever, the director is Mark Forster. And what else can I say about this movie? What are negative things I have? There are a couple scenes, like montages, that just chew up scenery a little bit. But all the things that I heard about the product placement and the fact that it was the shortest Bond movie, I should have looked back and thought, every Bond movie has product placement. He drives really cool cars that have to be designed by someone. Okay? It's not like he can be like, you know, talking in the microphone, we have a Paramount Pictures designed Aston Martin. Or, no, I mean, seriously. If you're going to drive a car, obviously it's going to have a car. And he doesn't drink Coke Zero. That was so BS. He doesn't Coke Zero. If that would have happened, I would have been mad. But, you know, another thing I found funny is that there's a character in here who looks and sounds exactly like Phil Jackson, the coach of the Lakers. He's a guy with the mustache. Have you seen this movie? Look at Phil Jackson. Look at an interview with him. They're identical. The resemblance is uncanny. Another thing, Jeffrey Wright had a smaller part in this. And I really like his characters, and I really like him as an actor. He's like one of my favorite actors. So I wish they would have had him in there a lot more. But overall, this really is a solid film. I don't know if it's as good as Royale, but god dang it, this is pretty awesome. I would say not only see this, but see it twice, because it really is that awesome of a movie. I'm going to give Quantum of Solace a 9 out of 10. Awesome stuff. This is up there with my favorite films of the year. I would put it 4 or 5. It's really up there. So, you know, check this out. This is awesome. My huge suggestion, though, see Casino Royale first. But, because this is an actual sequel. It's not like a Bond movie where they just throw out the last Bond girls, throw out the last villains, and just start over. This is an actual sequel. But, that being said, I think you can, if you haven't seen Casino Royale and you do see this, I think you can get some enjoyment out of the cool action scenes in it anyway. And the fact that Daniel Craig's an awesome Bond. And on the way home, my mom asked me, he's like, you know, I just don't get it. Why does he get all these women to sleep with him? And I go, because he's charming. And my mom's like, he's not that charming. I'm like, and then I kind of thought, I'm like, why do they sleep with him? I mean, I guess that's the way Ian Fleming wrote it, but I mean, seriously, it's like every single woman he runs into, it's like an army of Paris Hiltons bouncing on him. It's like armor. Like if you were to get hit in the face with a basketball, you just go or a fly in your face, you just go like that. It's not, you don't really. I mean, why? There's so many women, and sometimes he just sleeps with them, and then they just throw him out. Like, they don't even keep him anymore. I'm like, okay, this is odd. But, that being said, 9 out of 10 for Quantum of Solace. I'm running out of battery on here. Awesome film. Check it out. See it twice. See Casino Royale first. Daniel Craig is an awesome Bond. This movie is awesome. We saw an ad for the Star Trek movie. It looks good. We saw an ad for another movie, I can't remember, that also looked good. Day the Earth Stood Still, that's what it is, even though I've seen that in theaters about 3 times. 9 out of 10 for Quantum of Solace. About to run out of battery. See ya.